Welcome back everyone. For today's video, I wanted to show you some strategical mistakes where it's not super obvious. We're not losing a piece immediately, but you make enough of these moves and you might go into draws instead of wins, or you're gonna lose the game because you are making going into a bad habit. So let's start with this one. I used to make this mistake a lot, and I still have to find my brain to go for this line where I put my knight here, and in my brain everything is good because my calculation is okay. I'm gonna go for this knight to d5, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, and I take the pawn. Like, I'm fine, I'm doing great. Yeah, but that's not exactly what you want to do. This is an strategical mistake because first, this pawn is more important. In most cases, the central pawn is going to be more important than the pawn on the side of the board. So that's just as a notion. And second, you actually have an advantage here with white. Why don't we play bishop c4? So why don't you try to improve your pieces before anything else? So with bishop c4, you have ideas of now trading this bishop. You can also get your queen to d2, and it's much easier to play for white. Now, black has some weird moves. They have to find this retreating move, which is not easy. Now you can get your queen to d2. Black has to play also a really hard move to see. You can play queen e7, which is just super strange. Now you can also try to trade bishops. So if you trade bishops, you're doing great. You have an outpost, and this is much better position for white. So yeah, I would try to avoid these trades where you just trade in the knight, because it's not a lot. It's just a pawn, right? And you're also winning a pawn on the side of the board. Yeah, no, this is just bad. This is gonna be bad. All right, in this one, the first thing we want to do is evaluate the position and now try to find the move and make a plan for it. So an impulse will be, okay, let's just trade everything here in the center. But yeah, this will be a mistake. Let's just show it here for fun. Knight c to d5. Let's say that knight takes. We take back with the knight. Knight takes. We take back with the queen. Queen takes. E takes. Okay, and now you're never gonna push this pawn because king can get in and you don't have much. And you actually have a slight disadvantage because here on the board, okay, you have 2 versus 2 and then 4 versus 3. So yeah, that will be a disadvantage. Here you are actually slightly better for one thing. This knight. This knight that is in front of these 2 pawns. So whenever you see a knight here, there has to be a way to exploit it. So feel free to pause the video now and find the move. So the move is going to be queen b5. So queen b5, now you have different ideas. First, you want to start attacking these 2 weaknesses. The second is, in some lines, you're gonna want to put your rook here on d6. Okay, so let's just go for, let's say that black plays something like rook c7, defending this pawn. Now you can play queen a5, okay, targeting this pawn. If they play a6, now you can go queen b4, and now you're threatening to play this. So yeah, there's different variations with this one. Let's go back. For example, rook c7, or instead of rook c7, they play queen c6, right? Like they try to trade pieces. Now this pawn is hanging, so that cannot happen. Yeah, here we can have or show different variations. The lesson is, how can we improve our pieces before trying to trade everything here with this jump with the knight. So this is a mistake I used to make, but there has to be, look for something better. This mistake is very close to the chest because I have been making it recently and I didn't understand it up until now. So here the opponent plays knight c6. I have beautiful central pawns c, d, and e. So my mistake is pushing a central pawn, leaving a lot of space behind, and actually not making any progress in a position. So in my need to push or kick out this knight, I push d5. The knight has to retreat. And I go, okay, I should be better. Yeah, but there's no way I can punish this. I mean, let me know in the comments if you see anything, but I cannot really punish this mistake. Okay, now, what was the best move in the position instead of d5? Is to go bishop e3, defending this pawn not only twice, but 3 times, right? It was kind of hanging here. It looks like it's hanging. It's been attacked twice. But, okay, the funny part was, okay, after d5, my opponent goes knight d8. I play finally bishop e3, and they can just take. They can take, and they ruin my opponent's structure. I have 2 pawns. This is kind of an open file, so a lot to play for. They don't go for that bishop e3. They go for e5, which is a mistake. So the mistake here is, how do you play with black now that these 2 squares are not available? You're gonna have to waste another move and challenge this pawn, and I can take here anyway. And where is this knight going? It cannot land here, and these pieces are very restricted. So yeah, this is just bad. This is bad for black. But it's the same mistake in both sides of the board, right? It was just to push this pawn, and you're leaving all this space. I'm leaving all these 2 holes in the position. That's the problem. I'm leaving these 2 holes, okay? Another instance of this where I push a central pawn, leaving a lot of space behind. So in this one, white just playing f4. So here, I cannot really improve my pieces. That's the first thing I would try to do. Maybe I can bring my rook. That will be kind of quiet move. And maybe also just the other rook to the d file. So what is the absolute best move in the position? Is to take this pawn, the d pawn, and now they have to take back, and we just continue the game. They actually don't have to take back. They can take here this bishop, queen takes back. But in my need to kick out this bishop, I push c4. So c4, oh yeah, I'm winning the bishop, right? Because I'm also attacking this bishop. No. So they just have the forcing move here. I have to take back, and they retreat. And now this light square bishop is bad. I'm not looking at anything, and this is a beautiful bishop. I have a disadvantage. And now these knights are this knight, it cannot go anywhere, right? It cannot just land anywhere. I have to make a lot of moves to retreat it. Again, a strategical mistake would be to go with my knight here. I have no moves. Maybe I can just play something like, okay, but this doesn't really improve much because I'm looking at nothing. So yeah, a strategical mistake. Just pushing this pawn, and I'm also leaving this hole behind. That's the problem with this position. Alright, so this is going to be the last example, I swear. I show you with a push of the e4 pawn. So here I push the pawn. This is a mistake. Again, it's just like all the space behind. And I'm also opening up this diagonal. So very dangerous. But this is not the mistake I want to show you in this section. It's actually the next move. So they take, and now I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna give a check because checks captures and threats, right? So I'm gonna give a check. Yeah, but I give a check here, king f1, and I don't have a continuation. So I have to retreat the bishop. Sorry, not there, but I have to retreat the bishop. Otherwise, it might get trapped. Like they might be able to push f4, and my bishop is trapped. So yeah, here avoid these one move threads that don't improve the position. And this looks great because I'm giving a check, right? And they cannot castle. Yeah, they were not gonna castle anyway. So avoid these moves and try to improve this position before you do that. So in this game, I also have an example of one mover, but I would like to show you my strategy. This was a beautiful blitz game, but I have very clear a plan. I have 3 pawns on this side of the board, and he only has 2. So my plan is start targeting these 2 pawns, and trade the rest of the pieces, create a pass pawn on this side of the board. That's my whole plan. I don't really have to calculate or think about it too much. So, okay, they go for d4. I think they also understand my plan. They go, okay, I'm gonna trade pawns. So I play c4. Now they go rook b1, bishop b7. I can also trade pieces, right? That's my objective. Knight to e1, they retreat, which I don't really see why, but okay, it's fine. So queen d7, okay, targeting the pawn. Now f3, perfect. I can trade bishops. Knight takes on f3, knight b3. Now I have a powerful outpost on this side of the board. Bishop g5, okay, let's just trade. Knight takes on g5, and now this pawn is hanging. So I take the pawn, which is perfectly fine, and I saw this one coming. Okay, queen h5, but queen h5 is a mistake. It's one of those one movers. Okay, they threatening checkmate, but after h6, where do you go? Where do you put your knight? Right? Where do you put your pieces? There is no continuation. There is no other captures or checks in this position. So now they move the knight. I was also targeting this fork. So I think that was a good move. Knight to e4. And very slowly, let's just trade queens. I play queen a5, which is a mistake according to the computer. But conceptually, it's like, okay, let's just trade queens. And if they take, I don't even have to take with a pawn. That will double my pawns. No, I can just take with this knight. And I have two passers. I will have to create this passer, sorry. But I have 2 versus 1 defending this position. They don't even go for that. They actually made a mistake. They play queen g4. Queen g4. I was also, wait, am I crazy? No, okay, I'm just gonna play f5. And they resign in this position because even if you move the queen, then they're losing the knight, and this is just completely losing for white. So avoid these one movers. Avoid with these one movers and copy my strategy. Copy my strategy. Okay, you have an advantage. Let's just play for that advantage. All right, so the next is going to be really subtle. It's not going to be super clear. I took this example from Irina Krosh, Grandmaster. She probably explains better than I do. I'm gonna try my best. So here we allow a trade because we want to develop our pieces, right? Okay, put your bishop on the long diagonal and improve your pieces, develop this bishop. We go bishop e7. The problem is now we allow this trade. Knight takes on d5, we take, and it doesn't look like we are losing. It's not a big blunder or anything. Now they can play d4, and our bishop is gonna be blocked by our own pawn. That's kind of the problem. So why don't we avoid this trade? Instead of playing bishop e7, there are two options, two good options. Why don't we play knight takes on e3? If they take back, now we can also exploit this open file for the rook, and we should never be losing. We also have this option, bishop b7. And the other better option even is to go knight f6. Avoid this trade. You still have this move, bishop e7. And now they have this really awkward backward pawn. They're gonna have to play d4. Sorry, d3, not d4. Because this bishop was blocked, right? They have to get this bishop into activity. And now you can play bishop b7. So bishop b7 never goes away. Nobody's stealing you this move. Now you can also bring this rook to the open file. And it's painful. It's kind of painful to play with white. You should be slightly better with black. So, okay, I have another example of this. I think this is also about punishing the opponent's poor development. So our pieces are great, right? I mean, this bishop is good. Now this knight, I guess it can be kicked away. But there is ways to punish d4 if they ever play d4. Now there is this knight is really awkward. This bishop is underdeveloped. They have problems with development. So, but black sometimes doesn't know. We don't know how to improve the position. Maybe, okay, let's say rook e8, because rooks belong to open files. Yeah, that's a strange move, because now you allow the opponent to prove their pieces. Now they can also, or for example, we can see this line later, but rook e8, it just loses, it's just losing, right? Another example would be to play b6. b6, now they can play knight f4. And if you play bishop b7, now they can play knight d5. And you gave them all the tempos to improve this really just sad piece into this amazing knight. And they also are threatening to play f6. So you have to be concrete. Here, I think the lesson to be learned is you have to be concrete about your options. And I was glad I paused the video when I saw this example. Feel free to pause it, and I hope you see it. So here, you have to play d5. Yeah, d5 is an amazing move, because now let's say they go with d4. Okay, so now you can take the pawn, and they can never take back with the queen, because now they get into this tactic, right? We have tactics here. We give a check, and this queen is hanging. So let's say they take, this queen is hanging. All right, so here, yeah, developing a piece, in this case, let's say the rook or the bishop, it just allows the opponent to improve their position and to improve their pieces. Here you have more space, use it. We have more space, just use it. You can play d5. So I think this might be one of the big blunders of the game, which is not really immediately losing a piece, right? It's not like we are giving up a piece, and let's say I play, I don't know, like, oh, you know, my knight. So that's just a blunder. But here, let's say we take this knight with our bishop. Bishop takes on c3. Okay, looks like a trade. Yeah, but you are helping your opponent improve their pieces. Now this bishop is great, and here it was just terrible. So now this is a very specific position. Now you can actually jump in with the knight. If you were wondering, you can do it, because now you can take back, and you take back with the queen, and you are putting all of this pressure on this diagonal, and there is a pin, right? So I guess they can move the knight somewhere, but it's going to be it's just painful. It's just really painful to play with white. Okay, so yeah, don't trade pieces. Don't trade pieces for no reason. You're helping your opponent improve their pieces. No, don't do that. Do that something else instead. You can also castle. It's their problem. They have to solve this problem. It's not yours. So in this one, I am actually playing against one of my students, and he goes for e5. e5 is a mistake, because now I can retreat the knight and attack these two pawns, especially this pawn, right? That is being only defended once. And more importantly, I can also go for g4. The same idea. I take this bishop, and later I can grab this pawn. So, okay, that's what happened. Now he's helping me improve my pieces. Now he goes for rook d7, right? Like he's attacking my back rank. Yeah, but now this pawn was also hanging. So yeah, everything is losing here for white. And the problem is, he actually gave me the idea, right? Probably I wasn't even thinking about going after the bishop, but with his move, he's improving my pieces. He's helping me improve my position. So yeah, try to avoid those mistakes where you just push a pawn because, okay, maybe you are kicking out the knight. Yeah, but you have nothing to back this move. So yeah, just think about the continuation, right? Alright guys, I hope you liked this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Join the channel for only $1, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.